Welcome to Center of Light, all you sexy human souls. Keith Anthony Blanchard here. It's good to see you. It's been a while since I've done radio interviews. Looks like I'm going to be getting back into it. What better way I can possibly do that than start off with a dear broham sandwich of mine, Mr. Brian D. Hardin. We're going to be talking about the 7 dimensions of money. Everybody likes money. Some spiritual people out there, they're not into the money. They're into the money, but we're going to talk about some money. I like money. We all like money. So welcome to the Center of Light tonight. I have a fantastic hour. No, we're going to push. As long as Brian wants to go, at least until he can wear me out sometimes. That boy's got it going on. We're going to be talking about the 7 dimensions of money. We're going to be talking about Brian's trip to Hawaii, and possibly, if the mood feels right, I'm going to share with you a couple of snippets from an album I've been working on. Keep in mind, these are just song ideas. There's lots of re-recording that's going to have to take place, but I used this time to learn the software. Bruh, let me tell you. It's good to see you. If you're interested in my new bestseller, Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, there is a link in these forums on Facebook as well as YouTube. You could jump seat to Amazon and purchase this bestseller now, or if you read it, please use the same hyperlink to jump seat to Amazon and leave me a review. I say we get down to some Center of Light radio beeswax. Let me tell you about my guest tonight. I got to get my muscle memory back in my way and my groove. My guest tonight, Brian D. Hardin, spiritual teacher, gold record producer, former Hawaiian, and friend says, I am addicted to thought and creativity. I'm always making something, studying something, or playing something. I believe that imagination is more important than knowledge. Woo! It's getting hot in here already. I try to play more than I think. I follow my intuition, my heart. I turn off judgment, including judging myself. I've been blessed to be able to meditate and be in ceremony with many great elder leaders of many different Indian nations. Some of them I can't pronounce. So many different Indian nations with these elders. I am focused on sharing messages of hope. I love that. And understanding to the world. I am obsessed with creating great projects. That's where he and I partner up right there. Great projects and sharing a clear explanation of what changes are happening to humanity and how we are unifying and collectively raising and shifting our consciousness. I believe that my thought process is still similar to that when I was a kid. I knew God as a child, he says. It was simple. God is good. God is kindness. God is love, exclamation point. I am a fearless optimist. I believe that all problems exist in order to teach us lessons and to help us learn and grow. I believe that every crisis is really just an opportunity for growth. I believe that a true angel shows up as the devil and a true devil shows up as an angel. Duality is complex. Reality and truth can be, and I'm going to go one step further, they're simple. The whole universe is simply laid out. If there was difficulty, the whole thing would shut down out of confusion, everything. It's a well-greased machine. We're all just here to grow and learn and share and care and give and receive. Give love, get love, laugh more, worry less, and love all with gratitude. So with that, let me drop this into these forums, how you can find my guest, Mr. Brian D. Hardin. And we're going to get busy. Dana, Pri, Rina, everyone on Facebook. We're just going to get, I'm not ignoring you. Blessings, everyone. Thank you. Elaine, KK, Adana, and everyone. Your love beyond measure. So let me bring my guest, Mr. Brian D. Hardin, onto the radio show. Broham sandwich.
How you doing?
I'm fabulous, bro. Let's play. What you got? What's happening?
So you're back. That's great.
Back in the New York groove.
Hey, so why are you back? What's the feeling that brought you back?
People asking. I just needed a break. I got the wind kicked out of me for pushing, which I love doing. I love being of service, but pushing. I lost my breath. So I had to recollect. What's that?
Did you learn anything new?
Yeah, do something until you don't like it, then you stop doing it. And then when you start missing it, you do it again.
Fantastic.
What's happening with you, bro?
So is my
And
sound okay? Is my
you,
video all right? Is everything
yeah,
okay?
I hear you perfectly. You look freaking, what's that word? Dashing. You're
Well,
dashing.
thanks. You too.
I am envious. So let's get this right out the way. Everyone look at Brian's face. He's got a little sun on his face. He's been in Hawaii for about 5 months. So I was jealous, bro. Seriously.
I was
I had the
darker and
green-eyed
friendlier.
monster sticking his finger up my ear, my keister. How was it?
Oh, well, Hawaii is fantastic, particularly in the middle of the winter when everybody's got gray clouds and it's raining. It was my first day there. There were whales about 200 feet from the house, and my friends went out and swam. They said, "Come on, let's go swim with the whales." It's like, no, no, there's no way. I mean, I've never snorkeled before, so I didn't even have the gear ready, and much less go swim with a whale. And they went out and got close to it, and then the whale and the baby left, and the dolphins came, and there were pods and pods of dolphins that time of year that came every morning and just came by. And so you didn't even have to try. If you were in the water, the dolphins would come right beside you. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about, when you and I have talked while you were on the island, you can probably tell the affinity I have for it. When I was there in 1992, playing music, all expense paid, with some serious people, I was doing sound actually for 2 months. My first trip there, when I got off the plane, I could feel it. I could feel the spirit of the ancients. I could just feel it, and it was, Brian. It was It was the first few steps of my virgin walk into conscious awakening. So I would go to the North Shore, dusk time. We'd take Highway 1 all the way around the island. 4 or 5 of us would split the Jeep for 24 hours. It's only $5 a person. So I bought the Anya Shepherd Moon album, and I had headphones. And I would just sit there over and over and listen to this whole album, which had a very liquidy, fluid kind of energy to it. And so Hawaii's just reminiscent of a beautiful place, a beautiful space, and something that happened in my life that changed it forever.
It's a different energy of speed too. Everybody's like, yeah, it's island time. Just relax. Yeah. There's no hurry.
Yeah, yeah. So what did you take from Hawaii? And I don't mean take, but bring back, but what did you take from it spiritually? What's that?
Food was growing right outside the door every day, and I was on a big island, and so I had the ability to see stars that I never have seen before. There's some photos on my website or on my Facebook page that you could go down far enough and see that I've taken these amazing photos of the entire Milky Way. And it wasn't a big deal. I was standing on the front porch, and I opened the camera up for 2.5 seconds, the lens for 2.5 seconds, and it took millions of stars. It was crazy. And part of that was we're on the big island where the telescopes are, so they don't use regular street lights. So there's no street lights. And so we were in the middle of the jungle with no street lights. And it was just absolutely beautiful to be able to see that many stars. And when you get connected to the stars, the heavens, to also the water, the ocean, the power of that ocean, and then the air, which hasn't been breathed by anybody for like 2,000 to 4,000 miles in each direction. And did we lose something? We good? Okay. You had to reset?
Yeah, someone on YouTube made the comment that that you were echoing. I didn't hear the echo, but someone said you were echoing. So anyone, please let me know again if this happens, but I think everything should be good.
Okay. Am I still echoing, you think?
You're still happening. We're good. Okay. No, I don't think so. I killed you in the house. I got you in the cans.
So what you said was the 7 dimensions of money, and that's why I went to Hawaii. You've heard me talk plenty of times before, and I often talk about the evolution of humanity, how there are all these problems with the world. And Deepak Chopra worked with a group called an Alliance for New Humanity, and they came up with these four problems of the world. And here's what they are: that we create war, violence, and with children we hit them and we say don't hit, and we hit them and we tell them not to hit. It makes no sense. We do the same thing with countries. So violence or use of war or whatever, and basically it's obsolete. We don't have to have war. We don't have to be hitting kids. We can instead talk to them, or we can hug them and connect to them. And those are better options. So war is one of the problems. Personal preferences, which is, I'm better than you because my skin color or because what I believe.
Brian, if you would you please repeat
Yeah.
that first one? You pixelated audio wise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So by the first one, did you mean?
Where you just started a new thought
Oh, okay.
process.
Okay.
Start from there.
So the second would be personal preferences. Personal preferences would be, my God is better than yours, my skin color's better, my country's better, my sexual preference is better. So because you're different than me, I should hate you. And so that all that hatred comes from being different. And yet humanity really says that what makes us so great as humanity is that we're all unique. We're all, in the United States, what makes it so fantastic is we're that rainbow collection of all the greatest from all around the world. They come here with this vision of freedom and cooperation, and that's where we're going to get to. War is one of them. Personal preferences is another one. For these are the problems of the world, and the third problem with the world would be ecology, and that we're destroying Mother Nature at a rate that's insane. We lose between 150 to 250 species of plants and animals each day. Each day we lose that many species of plants and mammals, which is absolutely crazy that we haven't fixed that or haven't even recognized that we're destroying Mother Nature as if this planet is infinite, and yet it's finite. And we have, 8 million people or whatever it is, 7.5 million people, whatever it is, or billion people. And yet we're just continually using up all the resources. So war, these personal preferences, and then ecology. And the fourth one is economy. And this is where we're going to talk today, economy. And so the fourth problem of the world is it also causes all of the other ones, or is a contributor to all the other ones, because they say that money is evil, or it's the seeking of money that's evil. It leads to the greed, it leads to ignorance, it leads to having fear of lack, and it leads to control, that you want control. So within all this, these 7 dimensions of money are a solution for that. I'm working with my 2 friends that are Hawaii, and they've written 3 different books on the 7 dimensions of money and how to level up. And the third one involves a new economy, and they call it the Smart Economy 5.1. And I've joined with them to help do all the media surrounding that and get some of this information out. So this isn't my project. I'm just part of the project, and part of a tribe that's starting to build. So sometime in the next few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a few months, maybe a year, I don't know, they'll all come out. The books are about 90% finished, and they're fantastic. And we've got these courses that are going to come with this. And the idea is to get everyone to rethink their relationship to money, so they can rethink the relationship to war or violence or the ecology or each other. and the anger and hatred that comes with all that.
They're
So
all connected, right? They
yeah, it's
all
all
just
connected.
interconnected. One piece has the whole, and they all together make the whole. So it's hologramic.
Yeah. So within that, um, our evolution of consciousness has to come also with evolving our money system. And it's actually, you know how your phone, you've got a new operating system on your phone and it pops up every now and then. Well, we've been using the same operating system on our money system for like 100 or 150 years. This industrial revolution money system, and it's kind of a outdated, bizarre system. Now, some people would tell you, "Oh, cryptocurrency, that's the new thing," and it is indeed the new thing, but it's also not. It's just a step in those seven dimensions. It's actually the fourth step that's all part of the evolving way to get from competition to cooperation, from me and greed to we and co-creation and working as a community. And so it's really from me to we, from greed and ignorance and fear to this place of unity and love and liberty for all and conscious co-creation or cooperation. It's trust.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. And so ultimately that seventh step where we want to get to, that seventh step is not even having a need for money, because humanity's evolved to a level where we don't actually need to compete. We will ourselves and work together in a better way. So let me see if I can burn through some of these pretty quickly, because I don't want to stay only on this. This is what I'm excited about right now, but it's probably, several months till we actually have it released. So we'll do that in a little while. So the seven dimensions that came to my friend Scott, and then my friend Jacob and Scott, myself, have helped to embellish on that. But most of these original ideas came from Scott. And he's been studying money and working with money for about 20 years in a brilliant way. He went to college for economics, and he asked his professors, when the stock market crashed and everybody lost all that money, who got the money? Where did it go? And no one could tell him. Where did it go? So just recently, 2008, when all the banking system crashed, where did that money go? And then we bailed out the banks, right? Where did that money get created from? Where did it come from? They just wrote a blank check, right? And then the banks all of a sudden had money. So what you need to know is the money system we're in right now is what they call fiat. Fiat money is what you would call by decree, or it's fake money. You could also call it that there's nothing backing it. At one point, we had little coins, and silver or gold or whatever the coin was, they were like, copper and silver coins, and we would trade 5 of these equal 1 of these and so on. And that was real things, but it became heavy. So eventually it turned into paper. And the coins that actually were minerals then were backed by paper. And paper was valueless, pretty much compared to the coins themselves. So starting with paper, we had pretty much valueless money. And they said, oh, it's going to be backed by gold or something else. Well, after a while, they ran out of being able to create the gold. So they got us off the gold standard in 1972. That was Richard Nixon putting that last nail in the coffin on that. But that's not a bad thing, because when we got fiat money or fake money, we stopped hoarding things, and we started working with a different level of exchange. Now, it's taken us from 1972 till now to start to understand money. And when you actually understand money in a better way, and a better relationship, you can then start to begin to change the way the entire system is. And just like you update your phone operating system, we have to update the operating system on our money system. And so, of those 7 levels, I'm going to burn through these pretty fast. The first level is barter, where I've got apples and you've got oranges, or I've got bananas and you've got coal, or whatever it is, and we decide that 5 apples equal 1 orange, and so I give you 5 apples, you give me 1 orange, or whatever it is, and then that's our barter system, and that's sort of the old tribal way, and then when money itself came in more into existence as coins and so on, we started exchanging our own work, our own time, our own effort for money, our sweat equity for money. So most people live in that right now, just that second dimension, not the seventh, but just the second dimension, to where we work per hour and we get money. We go home after 40 hours, and that's our money for the week or whatever. And so we exchange our own time for money. Now, the next level up, or dimension up, because all of these dimensions exist at the same time. There are people still bartering for money, trading something, and there are people still working for money. But the next level up is this level where money actually makes money. And so you can get right now on Wall Street or a trading app or whatever, and you can buy stock in Apple or Coca-Cola or whatever you want to buy, Tesla or whatever it is, and you can buy that stock, and it goes up and down. Then you're actually exchanging your money where your money actually makes money. Those are investments. And that money making money, instead of it adding up, it has the ability to compound in this linear, instead of linear way, it's like logarithmic. And so the rich get super rich by playing things like the stock market. I wouldn't doubt that since the stock market crash, it's more than doubled and tripled and so on since then. And so if you had any money left at the stock market crash in 2008 and dumped it in the stock market, you're doing pretty well now. And so it multiplies, it compounds. That's the third dimension. So the fourth dimension is, we're also here right now. And this is that word that we just talked about, fiat, or by decree. And that's where you literally can make our own money. So let's say you and I have a little community, and we're going to Keithville, okay? And in Keithville, it's you and I and 98 of our friends. There's 100 of us. And we all make an agreement that we're going to not deal with the U.S. money. We're going to make our own money. And you put out 1,000 bills, so everybody gets 10, And at some point, when you need something done as Keithville's government, you would just give some more money. Instead of it just being limited to 1,000, you would add another 1,000. And then everybody would have, as much as 20 bucks each, or within the circulation. And then it starts balancing within itself. Well, our government, like that, actually they have a blank checkbook. It can never bounce. And so these people that say that our government we're going to go bankrupt, the U.S. government's going to go bankrupt. We are the fiat currency for the planet right now. And so within that being fiat currency for the planet, we win. We can write a blank check, and we convince other countries to use our currency. So the rest of the world uses our money system. And so we give aid to other countries, and they're obligated to use our money. We pay them in US dollars. We don't pay them in odd money systems. And so even all of our work in China, where these products come from China, we're paying them in US dollars. And we can just literally write more zeros or more money, a blank check, and send it to China, and that would balance our debt to them in U.S. dollars, because it's just a blank checkbook. It'll never bounce. And so within that money system, um, everybody's connected to our money system. We're the winners at the moment. And part of that is our military keeps it that way. So our government has this blank checkbook, and then our banks.
So is that what war's about?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we're the police for the world, keeping everybody on our dollar system, and that's why we have 800 military bases around the world. It's to keep everybody on our money system, and that's why the U.S. makes very few products, and yet we're still the richest country in the world. Everybody else is making our products and accepting our dollars as equal as fine payment, and it has nothing to do with how much gold we have. There is no gold supply. It's instead.
That's gone.
Yeah, it's instead it's fiat, meaning by the U.S. is our leader in money. So by decree, we're creating a blank checkbook. And then the second level of that blank checkbook is the banking system, the Federal Reserve System, and so on, and the banking system. Well, the banks have this fractional reserve system to where they only have to keep about 10% of the money that they loan out. So if you deposit, $1 million in the bank, they can loan $9 million more out against that 1 million that just came in, and so they are instantly making profits off of imaginary money. And it's not like there's a bank truck carrying money from one bank to another. It's literally put as digits in a computer, and it's written up there, and from day one you're paying debt or interest on that money that was literally nothing but digits in a computer and on a ledger and so on. And so it's not that they printed any more money. It's not that the government printed money. It's literally that the bank just said, this is our fractional reserve, this is okay, and our government said it's okay too because of that fractional reserve. And then they have to balance their books every night, and they do that. That's part of the whole system. But our system is always ever expanding money. They say one of the laws of economics is that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, and that's absolutely true because we're always growing. So that's the fourth level. The fifth, sixth, and seventh level are going from all of that greed and all of that me competition and I'm winning to evolving to a place of trust where we're eventually getting to know money. And how we do that is we evolve our money system. So just like we update our operating system on our phone, what we need is a new operating system in money to where we actually have a fiat money system that doesn't only work for one small group of billionaires, but instead works better for everybody. And we all, as a uniform world, agree to this. Now, Bitcoin and some of these other fiat money systems, they're also fiat money. They're by decree. They're fake money. It's all imaginary, but it's a better money system than just the blank checkbook. But still, that's not yet the final thing. That's just one step towards getting a world money system with more fairness in it throughout the world, where we don't need because the competition starts to fade away. We have cooperation, and we start to equally distribute the wealth within. So there used to be like 60 or 80 people that had the same wealth as half of the planet. Of basically 4 billion people had the same wealth as maybe 60 or 80 people. Now it's about 5. When I first started, it was probably 10 years ago when I was aware of those numbers. It's now gone from like 60 or 80 to 5. and many of those are Americans. They're you know uh, uh, Jeff Bezos, which owns Amazon, uh, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett, and Elon Musk. Some of these known names are in those top 10 or 20 or 30 billionaires, and if you add them up, they have an insane amount of money. And during this COVID time, they all made enormous profits. Once again, that money making money, that compounding, uh, where the money multiplies as opposed to just adds up. So during that COVID time, you got little incentives, $1,000, $1,200, $600, and that was supposed to get you through. But those guys all made billions, billions of dollars. And so um, we, the people, didn't get bailed out during that time. We had a little break from work, some of us did, but we didn't get bailed out like the billionaires did. And it created more economic disparity. And so that economic disparity puts stress on the poor and the middle class. And at some point we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And maybe we will demand to change the operating system on our money system soon. And that's why the big rush on the fiat currencies of electronic cryptocurrencies. People are tired of just the regular money system. Well, the crypto isn't yet evolved, yet. We haven't all made an agreement on one of them. And there's going to be literally hundreds and hundreds. I think there's about 150 decent ones out there right now, with obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these others being the leader in that. So that's the fifth level. And the sixth level is where we start to realize that we have things like, robots and computers that are doing our jobs, and we no longer need to be overworked doing paper pushing jobs and so on. But like just this past couple of weeks, we lost all the checkout people at Walmart. Which is so they're expecting to get rid of jobs, and it's not like Walmart's poor. They're doing fine, and if you look at what their stock's done over the last year and a half, they just blew up. And so the richest, once again, rich Americans, which are the Walton family, put them together, and they're one of the richest families in the world. They just got rid of jobs to automation again. And so we're going to lose jobs, and at some point it's going to be obvious that for the US people to still consume and still live okay and not create our own war against the richest few, that we need a universal basic income. And so that's coming, or that talk is around the world, that we can grow our food with robots. We don't even need to drive a car anymore. They're self-driving. We can get deliveries that are automatic to us. And so if everybody starts to work in a sharing, caring way, where we actually are in harmony with our environment and our surplus, and don't overconsume, like 4,000 rolls of toilet paper, or whatever it is. You use what you need and not insanity. But then we get to that sixth level, which is that sharing, caring, connected space, where we all stop thinking of me, and start working together to harmonize with the planet and each other. And war starts to go away, cooperation gets even more. And then our seventh level is trust. And that's where we don't even need money. And so we're going from me to we, from competition to cooperation. And it's an evolution of consciousness. And so when we do that, away goes the problems of ecology, destroying our ecology. We get in harmony with that. We get in harmony with each other. and we spend more time doing spiritual matters. So imagine you spending 40 hours a week on spiritual matters, evolving yourself and helping out your community and doing things you love for the community and with all the kids, and wisdom and connectedness and dancing and laughing and making food. It would evolve consciousness quickly to a place where we don't hate each other. We don't compete. Everybody's got enough. And so my version of the future isn't a dystopic version where we've got the road warrior and everything's oil, and everything's a desert. But instead, where we actually all work together in harmony and we lower our consumption, we increase our quality of life, our life expectancy beyond each other, and the money literally will fade away. But to do that, there's these 7 steps, and there's 6 courses that are coming with this, all detailed, great details. And one of those courses is a leveling up course. It's taking that 4th dimensional economy and showing you how you right now can go from 2nd dimension to 3rd into 4th dimensional economy, and then evolve into a smart economy 5.0, which is the 5th level. And that's where we really want to get to now, is this beyond fiat money. And so these courses are going to be coming out maybe sometime within the year. Okay, well, let's just vaguely put it that. And my friends Scott and Jacob are amazing, talented, intelligent, and focused on making this work for everyone, for all the planet. So,
Brian, if you would, either turn your volume down or put your headphones on. You're echoing. You were echoing first, and now I'm echoing you. I can hear my echo, basically.
I'll just turn my speakers way down.
There you go.
I don't think the speakers are. Let's see if that helps.
Okay. Test 1, 2. Fantastic.
Well, I usually like echo.
Yeah, definitely when I'm singing. And I'll take reverb over echo. When it's dry, bro, it's like it works hard on the singer, at least for me. If I don't have any reverb and I sing and the note cuts off, it's like, bro, so it makes me want to extend the note and get a little more breathy and taper it off. I'm 57 years old, bro.
There you go.
Right. Wow, I'm taking this all in, and I love that they're all connected, that one embodies the whole, and that they all work together. Like you said, eventually the money system is going to fade out. So like those pieces are all embodying the whole, the people who don't want to let go of the money systems, it's somewhat likewise, metaphorically, they're going to fade away as well. Or at least their reality is definitely going to fade away, and they're going to be the, quote, poor ones until they catch up with the process and the progress and the sharing and the caring and so forth. I see it happening now. I know there are
fear goes away too.
What's that?
Can I give you a couple examples of how our fear goes away?
Absolutely.
Because everybody's in fear that the U.S. economy is going to go bankrupt. Okay. Well, don't you remember at the beginning of all this COVID thing, and also in 2008 when the banking system crashed and so on, our government just wrote a blank check. And our governments, both Donald Trump's and Joe Biden's version, have written blank checks. Here's money as a stimulus for corporations and so on. Well, those blank checks aren't hurting us; they're helping us. Back in 2008, our choice to bail out the banks was kind of silly, because bailing out the banks, all that did is made the banks buy other banks, and they still foreclosed on your house. If our government would have given that same quantity of money and split it up between all 150 million or whatever the quantity is of people in the United States, and split that up, we would have all had a big enough check that we would have been able to save our house. And what would you have done with the money? Put it in the bank. right? You wouldn't have put it under your mattress. You would have put it in the bank. So the banks would have still gotten the money. It just would have come through us. So in 2008, when the banking system crashed and everybody foreclosed on the houses, the banking system that was a bad way of dealing with humanity. And this way, right now, people are saying, "Oh, you got $1,000 check. That's fantastic for you." Well, it's not even close to what the corporations have gotten. The Walton family and Walmart and the subsidies for oil and so on. Some of these checks have been insane. Once again, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and so I'm totally excited about us evolving into a place where we take care of the people instead of just the corporations and those richest few. And that's part of this evolution, is when you learn that you've been ripped off by those corporations and by our government writing these blank checks
it'll motivate you.
it'll we can demand. So people like Bernie Sanders was running for president, and everybody said, how can you afford health care? Well, how we can afford health care is we literally write the check for it. And everybody in the United States would have health care if we literally wrote that check for it. The same amount of money or less than what we've spent during this COVID time. It was like $7 trillion or $8 trillion, I don't know. Well, that would have fixed healthcare for the universal healthcare for all the citizens of the U.S. And it literally wouldn't have been anything but a blank check. And so it's not that we don't have the money; it's that we literally don't want to do it. They don't want.
Well, it would definitely level the playing field. It would definitely level the playing field. That's just not going to happen, at least from their agenda. If everybody had the same amount of agenda. Yeah. Oh, well, we're gonna dissipate that. That's not a problem whatsoever.
This is both parties that are in on it. But once we understand this fiat money system a little bit better, you'll understand that we are capable of moving beyond this, working together, getting universal health care. Here's a little fact for you. I think there's 32 or 33 countries, the richest 33 countries in the world. There's only one country out of those 33 richest countries in the world that does not have universal health care. It's us. We're the richest country in the world, and we don't have universal health care. The next 32 all have universal health care. So once you really understand that, you'll realize we're getting ripped off. Really talk to someone in Canada about their health care and their safety. People in the U.S., they'll go bankrupt if someone gets cancer or gets some other illness, and they'll lose their house trying to pay. Like, the insurance they have only pays 80%, so they're still responsible for 20% of a $5 million bill, and that's $1 million. You don't have it, so sell your house and give it to the insurance company. It's insane. Now, no one does that when you have universal health care. You don't lose your house, your life savings, your inheritance, to health care coverage. So not only health care, but our transportation system, our infrastructure. We write checks to other countries to keep them enslaved to using our dollar system, but we forget about our own cities and states. Like some of our cities and states, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, they used to have steel and automobiles and other manufacture. All that manufacture went away over 40 years. And so the towns dwindled and decayed, and we haven't rebuilt that infrastructure as quickly as we could if we wrote the fiat money system. That's why Flint, Michigan has such horrible water still to this day. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves, of how we judge ourselves by how many billionaires we create, yet we, like, I'm in LA right now, and homeless people are just like 4 blocks away all over Venice Boulevard. And it's sad. They're living in tent cities. And many of those people had jobs just a year or two ago, and they're now living in their cars in a tent city or whatever, and it's sad, but live here where there's always a beach air, and the coldest it ever gets is 55 degrees, and they don't freeze to death, then live in Detroit or Cleveland or Chicago or whatever, where it gets super cold in the middle of the winter. So obviously there's homeless people here. You know, it's a decent place to be homeless, but it still makes no excuse to have them, because we judge ourselves by how many billionaires we create, but how many homeless people does it take to create one billionaire? That's really the question I have, you know. And so how do we alter that? The money, just like the banking thing, we give the money to the people and not to the banks. And the people put the money in the bank, and then there's fairness. Now, Scott's got some brilliant ideas that I'm excited about. I'm going to give away a couple of them. Like one idea with the universal basic income, to where everybody gets money that they get every month that they get to live on. Well, what if you were gifted money, but you're not allowed to use it for yourself? You have to give it away. You have to, which is awesome, because only really nice people that care for other people and do great jobs for other people will become the wealthier people. People will actually get value for them being nice and kind and cooperative, and our whole society would change. If you're mean and rude and arrogant and whatever else, you get no money because no one likes you. so that was one of the things. I know I won't say that it should be 100%, and maybe it's like tithing. You give away 10%. You know, maybe it starts that way. You tithe, but the idea should be part of that universal basic income, and it makes sense. And the healthcare should be part of that. And realize that we have automation and robotic and computerized ways of doing things, to where we get more in harmony with actually having things what they call right on time. It used to be we'd have to print up 1,000 CDs, and then you'd have a big stack of CDs or 1,000 books, and you'd have all this paper sitting all over your thing. Well, now they have it right on time, where you print on demand. And that same thing works in food or in clothing. Literally, we have the 3D printing systems to where we can build things on demand. And so all of that is shifting in the way that we treat our whole system. And our future, I can't even imagine what our new future is going to be like. Because our
10 years from 10 years
to,
from now, 10 years from now is just going to be so futuristic. It's going to shift exponentially. Every year it's going to fold into itself 10 times. So basically, you're going to see about 100 years and at a normal pace happen 10 years. Mark my words when I'm telling you.
I read 15 years ago this statement. 15 years ago, it was the top 10 jobs of 5 years from now haven't even been invented yet. And now think about it. The top 10 jobs coming up, who's to say? It's amazing how many people got their little bailout checks for the COVID, and all the youth, and they put their money in cryptocurrency, and it multiplied. It didn't double or triple. I mean, it multiplied, went like crazy, gangbusters. And so there's a lot of youth that did that bet into the fiat money system. And the reason it blew up was, once again, by decree. When Elon Musk and Mark Cuban and some others bought into the fiat money system, you saw other people go with it too. And so when it's supply and demand, and it just went up, 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 up. And then once they let go of it, now it's been dropping again, back to another level. But all of that is also by decree. It's just fiat, it's fake money. And it's the same type of fake money that we have in our government. It's except for it's a little more safe. because we all make that agreement at every transaction. It just will consume a lot of electricity, a lot of computing power, and so on. And at some point, it's kind of a time bomb blowing up itself. It's because it consumes so much electricity and so on. So we have to have a better version of that. And anyway, there's 150 versions of it right now or so, and it's evolving. It's coming to.
It's destined. It's destined to destroy itself.
It will.
So we have to get out of the game before it destroys us.
Well,
personally, collectively.
It's actually all of us agreeing to a better version of it, making a better agreement. And we're getting there. Yeah.
Slowly but surely, still got. We're still working on ourselves. I mean, we just took a freaking blow in the solar plexus for over a year that bent us in half, and now we're collecting our wind. We look at this on a spiritual level. Well, everything Brian's talking about is spiritual, but if we look at this in the spiritual arena, round two, we just got up from getting kicked in the balls, punch in the throat, and it's now we got up and dust the dust off of our derriere. You can bet there's more nonsense coming. So why are we going to be finding ourselves in the nonsense? Why not create the new human, the superhuman? That which is Brian is talking about, but not only in the form of money abundance, but abundance in every area of life, not only for yourself, but everyone. So everyone collectively ascends together exponentially, because the more people who you have to build your house, quicker it's going to erect itself. And so unless you have two guys, it's going to take 8, 9, 10 whatever months. You got 15 people working. Jehovah Witness Center, these people at Jehovah Witness, I remember as a kid down the street they were building a Jehovah Witness Center. So we can liken this to all your examples about this money system, the 7 dimensions of money. They were going to build a Jehovah Witness Center, and they told the neighborhoods this is what's going to happen, and they told us the story. Many people from all over the country come to wherever a center is being built, and they all participate. They laid the concrete. It took 3 days. 3 days. So in the same way,
cooperation.
Right? Yeah.
The Amish do that too, don't they?
Absolutely. They can erect a freaking 50, 60 tall barn, and they do it with muscle. They get the whole community and they lift up the barn. Now we're talking a big barn. We're talking for an Amish community, and all these brute built guys who work on the field their whole life, 50, 60, however many of them, they all lift this thing up and they carry it to where they want to place it on the ground.
Yep.
Power, collective power, collective strength.
Power.
Right?
So we the people have the power to take back our own liberty, our own ability to be in harmony with each other, with the planet, the ecology, to actually make war obsolete, and to be in harmony with all world's religions and all colors of people. And literally, I'm imagining at some point the dissolving of not only state lines but country lines, and just like in Europe, they kind of dissolved that and they made peace. And so when we come to a better agreement, we spend our energies creating love and kindness and cooperation as opposed to competition. Do you ever study Darwin or take a look at the what was it called, the survival of the fittest? Do you ever study that?
I know some. I dabble in some of that, but no, I've never delved into the level that you have in going into.
Well, we actually blame Darwin that he said competition. That was the big thing, and so we've run our systems with this competitive thing. Like in business, the first day of business class, they said the first priority of any business is profits for their shareholders. Business good for humanity or society, or leave something behind, or create something great for all, or to make it a low price. No, it was get as much money as you can for everything you do and hoard it, and in a way that you make a lot of money for your shareholders. That's what business is. It's money for your shareholders. It's not to do great things in humanity. In the process of making lots of money, some companies do versions of great things, but most of them are always competing to make more money, and so that creates greed and the fighting and so on. And if you notice, if you had a favorite product, uh, like Tom's toothpaste used to be my favorite toothpaste. Well,
Watermelon.
it got bought out by Crest because they were competing with Crest, and at some point the billionaire Crest just says, buy them up and get rid of them. And so now they used to make fluoride free Tom's toothpaste. All of it was fluoride free. Now they have fluoride all over most of it now. And there's only a few versions of Tom's that doesn't have fluoride.
I used to use it, Brian. Do you have a Dollar Tree in California?
Yeah, yeah.
Bruh, listen to me. Listen to me carefully. Go to Dollar Tree for $1. They will give you a tube of charcoal toothpaste, no dye, gluten-free, no artificial colors, no artificial flavors. It's charcoal, tastes absolutely fantastic. $1. When I was there, I bought 10 tubes, and I'm on tube number 2, and this was a year ago.
Wow.
Right? So, yeah. And
this is kombucha, by the way. It's not beer.
I don't care. If you had a beer, you could email me one or something. So, man, it's good to connect with you again, bro. I'm having a good time just on air chatting with you. And
well, I'm having a great time, too.
It's been a while, man. You and I used to play in the garden quite often.
So the evolution of humanity is what we always talk about.
Right.
And, I know that's underlying everything that you do. Isn't that right? That you're always trying to help people evolve and to cooperate better and work together as a team. And,
something I think I read of yours recently, this COVID thing is actually a blessing. I get it. Some people died. I am not trivializing this. I'm talking about for the collective people who are here to experience what those who have passed left behind. We are not the same at all. This group of people on this rock are not the same group of people at all. We have truly evolved in consciousness. We step up a rung of the ladder. How do I know that? Well, simply because before a year plus ago, there was the nonsense that was happening. Some of it was surfacing, but a lot of it was under the rug. Since COVID, now social media doesn't like that word, since the C word, everything is being revealed. Now you can't fool people as much because they know something is amiss. So in so doing, we are able to see. We know that when we see, we become clear. We raise in vibration because we're living now in a state of clarity. Everything, that's hence the term revelation. We're living in revelation. Everything's going to be revealed. And so we get to see. So the best way that I think we should be able to see, Brian, you can comment on this. I think the best way we are able to see is if we want to take a closer look at what's happening, we have to back up. You don't get there and get myopic with a microscope and, an optical, what do you call it? A monocle. You have to step back in order to see what's happening closer. So do you see this dynamic taking place in your life?
Oh, yes. For me, I was blessed to be invited to do this project in Hawaii. So just to get to Hawaii, you had to get tested for COVID. And then when you got off the plane, you got tested for COVID, and you weren't allowed to leave the airport until that test came through. And so you were double tested. Then most people on the island felt really, really safe. And so we were our own little island off by ourselves with less stress. And I watched almost everybody there create this peaceful harmony community that were all working on themselves in a different way. Because we didn't have the social activities that used to happen. They were smaller groups and so on, and people actually got deeper, and they connected at a deeper level. And they actually had a little bit more time to spend, and Hawaii is that way anyway. But ultimately, we talked about Darwin. Darwin was about competition according to our systems. But if you really read The Survival of the Fittest, he only spoke about competition a few times. He actually spoke about love and cooperation 95 times. And so it was like 95 to 5. And that's where we're going. Cooperation. That evolution favors those that are adaptable to change. And we have to be adaptable to changing our money system. We have to be adaptable to changing our habits and our of fear and lack and judgment and go of that, and actually work more like you were saying, the Amish or the Mennonites, or I forget what example you gave. But,
Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, Jehovah's Witness. Yeah.
Brian,
So
let me interject here, sir. Let me interject here. Someone from the chat room asked, and it's a very good question. You threw a biscuit out there and you pulled it back. That's not nice of you. You threw something really, really tasty out there. And so Carmen asked the question, what are those 5 jobs of the future that you talked about? So we need to get on this train now. Do you know what they are, or was it just an idea that?
Well, they haven't even been imagined yet, is what it said.
Right.
It said they haven't been created yet. The top 5 jobs. So imagine this. Actually, let me give you a simple one. We've had the physical, mental, and spiritual evolutions. The physical evolution started with the Industrial Revolution, and about 120 years ago is when we finally started dealing with electricity. We discovered electricity. And if I told you that we were going to, this is 120 years ago, if I told you that I was going to take lightning bolts and put it into tubes and send it into everybody's house, and that you could flick a little toggle and the light of the sun will come on in the middle of the night, or turn a little knob and warmth from a fireplace, something like a fireplace without any fire coming out of it, will come out, heat will come out. You'd think I was crazy. Or that we could fly, mankind could fly, or we have the horseless carriage. All that was about 120 years ago. Flight, automobiles, electricity. And so imagine 130 years ago, and I said, all right, we're going to have flight, we're going to have automobiles, we're going to have electricity. You would think I was crazy. Everybody was still, carrying water and riding horses, chopping wood, and that's how they were getting along. And maybe coal. Wow, that was a big innovation. And steam engines. So all of that would have sounded crazy just 10 years before. And so then that was the physical world. The mental world is the information age. That's mind. So there's the physical world's body, the mental world's mind. And so the mental world, if I told you that, we're going to be able to talk, you're going to be able to have a little black box, and everybody on the whole planet's going to have one of these little black boxes, and we're going to be able to talk to it. Any world right there at the fingertips. You'd think I was crazy, like 40 years ago or whatever it was. You thought that was crazy talk. But now everybody has it. Even in third world countries, you see plenty of people that they're communicating that way. And so that's the information age, right? That's the physical industrial revolution, the mental information age, and now we have this third one, which is a spiritual evolution or revolution. So all 3 are happening now. So we're having new physical things happening to where we've got 3D printing things, so we can print on demand. We have information at our fingertips. Why would I need to remember things from a history book whenever I have it here? I don't need to remember history. It's all right here. I've got a calculator right here. And so it changes the way we have to think and consume our brain with things that aren't as relevant as being present in the now. And then the spiritual evolution is really where we go to, where, remember I talked about Darwin and me competition, and then we're going to this we cooperation. me to we, from this masculine force to this feminine form. Like a grandmother wouldn't, the old paradigm is this one person up front and everybody's listening to them. I'm the leader, listen to me. Now, the new way, the feminine way, is a circle where we all are like a grandmother brings all the kids together in circle, and they all can see each other eye to eye. You can see everybody in the whole circle as a group, and everyone's equal, and everyone gets to talk and share in this little circle. And you come to unanimity or cooperation as a whole. And that's going from me to we, from competition to cooperation. And so we're evolving to that way spiritually, to where when we start cooperating with all of ourselves, all the people, ourselves, the planet, and our overconsumption of things, we get in harmony with each other. We don't have war. War becomes obsolete. We work together in evolving our consciousness as opposed to spending 40 hours enslaved to a bad job. So I would say the jobs of the future right now would be robot repair. Okay, that would be one of them. It would, wouldn't it? Bank tellers. Do you think we need bank tellers anymore? Do you think we need a travel agent anymore? No. Do you think, it's like, but what people want is community. So in some ways, artist, storyteller, teacher, inspirational person, those are all jobs of bringing community together, inspiring others to be their best, and showing them easy ways that they can be better and enhance their community. Because if they say, instead of fishing for someone, you teach them how to fish. Imagine what you do every day. Look at your feed of all these people showing up here. Everybody loves what you do, and they're inspired to then do that to others and forward. And each one of these people have their own communities. It might be 5 people, it might be 20 people, it might be thousands, who knows? But your inspiration inspires them to inspire others. And so the real job is create a community, inspire others, love one another, care for it, and innovate and cooperate, So that's the job.
Yeah, cooperation is everything. I mean, it's where the world's going, so we might as well get out of the fight. I mean, yeah. We're somewhat a long time, not only fighting with others, fighting ourselves. Consciously, we get mad at ourselves. We get angry sometimes. Tomorrow night, I am going to be doing a presentation on, I want to take this time to do this. This is really important. I've been seeing lots of people on Facebook, social media lately. I don't want to give it away just yet. I want to find this cover. It's pretty powerful, if I can. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. Welcome, everybody, to Center of Light. Tonight, my guest is Mr. Brian D. Hardin. We're talking about the 7 dimensions of money. I am looking for this cover. I don't think
that was when I had a little goatee. I used to have
right? It all the time. So tomorrow night, I'm doing a presentation on depression. And I got, Keith is living in love and light everywhere, right? And I'm seeing people's concerns about depression. So it caught my attention. So tomorrow night, I'm doing a presentation on depression. Please make it stop. So if you know anyone who is dealing with depression, have them show up. I will grab their hand, and we're both going to jump into the fire, and we're going to figure it out. So.
Actually, I got something here to remind you of.
Okay.
We could probably start talking right now on that. Do you know who Gabor Mate is? Are you familiar with her? Mate, M-A-T-E, with a little oulad or whatever over.
No, you might say something in a second that'll spark my.
Gabor M-A-T-E. Just look him up, and you can see him. He's a psychiatrist. And you could see just one photo of him. You'll say, yeah, that guy was an alcoholic, or maybe he still is. I don't know. But if you were dealing with alcoholism or addiction, wouldn't you want someone who's already been an addict and recovered? to help you? Yeah. Well, he is obviously been through it, and he knows what it feels like to be heavy, depressed, you know, alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever. And he spends his time helping people in a new way. So the old way is you take people that are an alcoholic and you put them in jail and you separate them from society. Well, it's the exact opposite of what drug addicts or any addict needs. Now, this could be, you know, workaholic, it could be sexaholic, it could be, you know, alcoholic or drugs or whatever it is. And he found that it is connection that people want. And so we go back to cooperation, that the solution is connection. It's a community. And there's a tribe there's tribes in Africa, and they call it UBUNTU.
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 Yeah.
And UBUNTU, I think. Anyway, look it up. And the tribes, what they do is, I am because we are. Once again, it's that cooperation. It's community. C-O, cooperation, communication, cooperate. You know, so community. So we have to have the group to work together, and that's so how they do it. If someone acts out, let's say they act badly, they steal something, or they act badly in the community, or they're an alcoholic, or whatever it is, how they treat that isn't to banish the tribe and, you know, go away, go to jail, and just disappear. Instead, they bring them into the center of the tribe, and for 2 days they tell them how necessary they are to the tribe, how important they are, and how their little piece fits in the tribe and is essential to the whole tribe working together, the community, the community. And so when you have that, you feel, after a couple days, you get this feeling that, oh, I'm needed. I can't act badly. I have to. I'm important to this whole society. And so you automatically fix yourself, and because you fix yourself because the community needs you. And alcoholism is usually a response to feeling alone. Video.
Brian, hang on a second. Brian, please repeat that again. You pixelated on me. Repeat what you said about from alcoholism on.
I didn't
repeat
pixelate
that
on purpose. I didn't
it's your power, bro.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy named Zach Bush. He deals with he's a doctor, and he deals with gut biome and some other things. And if you look up Zach, Z-A-C-H, Bush, B-U-S-H, and then type in monologue, the greatest monologue. He was on an interview show for Rich Roll, and he talked for 2 hours. And at the end of it, he speaks for 10 minutes. And one of the things he says is, we are all lonely as hell. And I guarantee you, everybody felt that during this, last year and a half. We've all felt lonely as hell, isolated, separated. And what we all need to do now that these walls are falling is really connect in a deeper way. Really start saying, I love you. I need you. I appreciate you. So when we talk about money, they say money appreciates. Money doesn't appreciate, not nearly as well as love. And so the money system we're in right now is this greed. And the money system we're evolving to is that cooperation. Now that appreciates, because if you can say thank you, thank you, thank you, gratitude, and really give thanks to someone for what they're doing for you and with you, that is the best payment. A lot of teachers, the reason they teach is because they want to help people, and they never get appreciated at the level that they actually deserve. That students don't appreciate them, the parents don't appreciate them, they don't understand. And you'd be surprised what some gratitude and thank yous will do for people. And not only teachers, but the firemen, the policemen, everybody on the planet, the
Everybody,
singers and so on.
completely
Yeah.
everybody. So what I was going to offer for those, Brian, thank you for that. And it's really in alignment with tomorrow and what we're talking about tonight. So if we look at what depression is, depression, which often is stimulated by grief, someone leaving, someone you've been in a relationship for a long time leaves, you can fall into depression. But what's going to come out of it is you're going to see how you have turned your anger in toward yourself because you knew all along you shouldn't have stayed in the first place. This is sort of the cycle that happens. Grief, depression, and anger, they're all unconsciously co-mingling together. They're just getting lost in this conundrum and they don't know how to do this. Strangely, a lot of people don't want out of depression. They will even tell you, leave me alone. Yeah, but I got something. Just leave me alone. They don't want out. This could be happening for two reasons. One, because the attention they didn't get from the lover that just left them, now they're getting all the attention they want. That's one aspect. The other is their spirit may be saying, I want you to stay in depression for a while. I want you to get a good taste. I want you to get a good bite of that sandwich so you can finally integrate this new you. It may take you 2 years. The universe is not in a hurry. And so you may supposed to be in depression so you can process and burn out this residual karmic energy, God knows for how many eons of time or how many different relationships in this present life. So, and most people are seriously just enjoying the ride. They don't know how to step. The ones who don't know how to step are the ones that want out. The ones who don't care about stepping, obviously, they just want to be left alone. But if you're truly wanting out of your depression, I'm here. Be at tomorrow night's presentation. That'll last just over an hour. You can send me a message. I do what I do because I care. But some people, for those who are not interested in getting out just yet, because for whatever, it may be something strangely beautiful to you. I get it. I was in it for 2 years. In hindsight, I wish it was shorter, but there was some perverted enjoyment in it for me. The wanting, the longing, the messing with the dark energy, and only to find myself climbing out of this labyrinth, out of this hole. So if you're not one who is ready to heal and you're depressed or you know someone who is not ready, maybe just watch it anyway. See what happens for you. Why? Because we share a common idea now, depression. In the future, I will do another one as well on anxiety. So try to make it tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time.
Could I add to that, please?
By all means.
So what you said, what we were talking about cooperation and about appreciation for all those people and making them feel wanted and needed and part of the community, that is essential. But you're also saying that sometimes they've got their misery. So their misery might be, this is my misery. Oh, look at my misery. It gets me attention. This thing. Oh, this. I'm a victim, or I'm this. Whatever this misery is for them. This happened to me, and they hang on to this instead of dealing with the dark side and addressing that one-on-one. They actually get a little bit of attention for
they
that.
like the immediate gratification.
That little
That's
bit
right.
of attention.
That's
but
right.
The real attention they need is not look at my misery and listen to me bitch, but instead I'm dealing with it head on, and I'm getting appreciation from the community. I'm getting love from the community, and I'm up-leveling my game from not that low frequency energy of negativity and argue, blame, complain, but instead the higher one of love, cooperation, and suddenly they're in service. So maybe what they start doing is they start helping others that had the same problem, be it sexual abuse or whatever, alcoholism or whatever the drugs or whatever the problem was that they were holding themselves back on. They find appreciation by helping others that are in worse shape than them. And so it's been said, Bob Dylan has these funny little songs, and one of his songs was, you got to serve somebody. and you really have to serve. If you're unhappy, if you're depressed, find someone who's in worse shape and help them. It'll give them a leg up, and that'll help you feel better. They'll appreciate you, and you can feed it back. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, Brian, people who are sick, not all of them, nobody's pinpointing anybody out, but often people who have a condition, illness, disease, or whatever the situation may be, even depression, even anxiety, on some level that they are not aware of and or don't understand that they are doing it, they're staying in the game of being said ill mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it may be, because of the attention it pays them. But little do they realize, in the end, they are going to pay the price. So, you know, I did it.
Look at the words you just used. We were talking about money, pay,
owe, debt,
yeah,
lack, because I'm giving away my energy, my flux, my influx. Now it's an outflux.
Money appreciates appreciation. I mean, it's all related to give and take, you know? Yeah. So we need to move as part of the evolution of consciousness is evolving from me to we. And so imagine you getting some level of universal basic income and you have to give it away, right? You have to give it all away.
That's what Jesus said to do.
You're only going to give it away to good people. So guess what you have to do? You have to be a good person. So you see someone who's in need of help, that has a problem that you already overcame, you help them overcome it. And then they give you the money. And you do this on and on and on. And suddenly, like, you become rich by helping other people. And this can happen now, but it certainly can happen with the whole flow of that. And you know,
if you are new to any of these concepts, which I'm sure most of you are not, but if you happen to be, and you know, you're just a cool John or a cool Jill, and you just live your life and you keep to yourself, that's awesome. And you live in a good life, amazing. God bless you. But if you help one person doing one thing every day, you realize that when your neighbor needed something, they didn't even ask you. You just walk, bro, you need some help putting this freaking lawnmower in your truck. And you're going to lay your head down at night and you're going to go, wow, and then you're going to be motivated by the endorphins that seep into your body, all the God molecule, the ayahuasca, the spirit molecule is going to move into your system by remembering and going over how you spent your day and the look on said person's face when you did them something for them and they didn't even ask. Or even if they ask, you do it. But the point is, when you start to living in this space, here we go. Brian was talking about the 7 layers of money, 7 dimensions of money. You just appreciated your value, and you can bank on that when you help people. And none of your checks will ever bounce, and none will come back to you for overdraft. In fact, the momentum of your life begins to give you funds. I mean, life should be fun. Make life fun for other people by helping.
And, you know, this isn't a new concept.
No, there is no higher calling than helping. People who wait tables are in the highest calling. They're helping. They're serving. That's why they're called servers. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
All world's religions actually have the same principle. All major world religions say, "Do unto others as you would have done to you." It's just commonplace. And if you want, I'll grab a book and read it all to you. You know.
Brian, we've been doing this an hour and a half. Boy, time flies. Could you leave us with a closing thought? And I'm going to sign off with one of my potential songs in a new album, but I'm only going to do one instead. I had 3 queued up just in case, but I'm going to let you decide. So leave us with a closing thought, my bro.
Wow. I usually end with this funny little list of things because it's sort of what I'm about. And I've got a bunch of different funny little lists. One is that part of our evolution of consciousness is we all have to have love. That's what we're seeking, you know, and we have to have joy. You know, joy comes from multiple levels. In the physical world, joy is satisfaction. Oh, you know, I'm warm, I'm cold, I'm satisfied. And in the mental world, it's more like happiness. We make our minds up to be happy. You know, that's our mind. So physical world is satisfaction, mental world happiness, and the spiritual world is sort of joy. It's this feeling of, you can literally feel and choose to feel in your entire body, mind, spirit. It also releases when you get rid of your anxiety, your fears, your doubts, and so on. And then you get to a fourth level, which is all three: body, mind, spirit. It's bliss. You get to that. So love and joy. And then the next one would be innocence. And innocence to me is like open-mindedness. It's like looking like a kid, having your mind open to wow and follow your passion and get follow your true excitement. And most of us don't. We're all so up in our head and on this regimented schedule, we forget to do what brings us joy and care for others and follow that innocence. So love, joy, innocence. Fearlessness is the next one. Fearlessness is having literally no fear. And it's not like, I'm so strong, I can beat you up, so I'm not afraid of you. It's literally realizing that every problem or every crisis that comes at us is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. And so there's nothing to fear. There's lessons in everything. When I had a near-death experience when I was 16, and when I did my life review, the question after every life review, whether it was good or bad, the question was, did you learn your lessons? So my version of humanity and the being spirit is knowing that I am always seeking to learn a lesson and to share that, what I learn with everybody. So love, joy, innocence, fearlessness, and the last one is gratitude. Have gratitude, gratefulness, thankfulness, love. And so the Lakota Indians, they call it what's it called? It is a thankful ceremony. Wapola, I don't know. It'll come back to me. Sorry about this. I'm sorry to all my Lakota friends.
You just said something that's pretty powerful. When you said gratitude, it came over me like a freaking garment. A person who stays in gratitude stays away from depression.
Yes.
I was just draped with this, and it's like, my lover left, but I know there's a lesson in here, so I'm grateful for the lesson. It bypasses lots of pain. Wow. So I just, in fact, when I was doing this, I was putting that into my notes for tomorrow.
Well, think about your brain. Your brain you can only think of one thought at a time. It's either yum or yuck, one or the other. And so when we're giving gratitude, you're thinking of all the things you're thankful for. And most of us sit in fear all day. You turn on the news, all it is fear and negativity. Oh, and you get addicted to that endorphin rush of like, oh, fear. Oh, that's, at least I feel something, you know? But you can choose to feel good.
That's kind of the thing. That's what I'm talking about tomorrow, but we're talking about it just a little bit tonight. That's the thing with depression. I'll stay in the depression when I feel nothing, provided it's going to give me attention from those who make me feel something. And this can become addicting as to why I did, as well as many people, can stay in it for years. Some people, it comes in, goes. Some people, it's a day, a mood. They call that a mood shift. It's a mini depression. But some people stay in. I stayed in for 2 years until finally I woke up and said, bruh, there's got to be something else. I wrung the rag that had nothing in it so dry, there was even more nothing in it. There was nothing else possibly in it that I can nurse on that dark teat. There was nothing. Brian, thank you for joining me, sir. I appreciate you.
Let me wrap the whole thing up, because that was a whole list. And now,
you go, brother.
Question everything. Question everything. Because, we don't even know what we don't even know. Question everything. Fear not. Worry less. Love all. That's the ALL. All. Even the good and the bad. love all, and do it with gratitude for everything and everybody. So there you go. That's my wrap up.
Carmen Shasha in the room said, in therapy, you have to write down things or people you are grateful for. See, I don't have, it just came to me, so I don't have to read. It just comes to me. I'm teasing. It's yum or yuck.
Fill your brain up with yum. Put yum in there, and then when you have that new feeling of being above the water instead of always under the water, when you can get a breath, then look down and deal with all that depression. Deal with your dark side. You don't ignore it, because life is like a video game. If you run around the monsters in the video game and you just keep running, eventually the monster is going to come up from behind and catch up to you and clobber you over the head. So you got to deal with your problems and your dark side, and there's plenty of great teachers that teach that. One is a friend of mine named Jamie Cotto, Catto. He does a free thing. Gathering, look him up, Jamie Cotto. He's made my favorite film of all time, named One Giant Leap. And anyway, brilliant guy. But there's a lot of great teachers out there that find one to help you deal with your darkness.
Brian, I enjoyed it. Let's do it again soon, bro.
Please, and let's play some music. You were supposed to come over here and play music with me.
You know what? I'll share with you a thought that came to me yesterday. I'll just share the thought. What happened to me yesterday? I'm just doing my thing in the nothing in the cave, and this thought decides it's going to wind its way into my consciousness, and it says, Keith, record all your tracks. Get them how you want. Get good levels. Do everything you need to do. Take your ass to Los Angeles. Hang out with Brian. 1 week, we can do mixing. The second week, we can do Keith and Brian hanging out, being knuckleheads, drinking a beer, and that kind of stuff.
Or we can do both at the same time.
I would love it. That would be great. Especially since you got all these accolades and kudos. And you know what you've been doing it. Like if you want to play bass guitar, you come to me. If you want someone to mix your album, you go to Brian, who's 100 whatever plus gold record under his belt. And you and I talked about it, and you go straight to the ego. And when you tell me that, I always say, so fucking what? I love that you have accolades, that you've played in the arena of mastering a craft, so much so that you have this cushion, and I don't mean necessarily financially, which is fine if you do, but this cushion that holds you afloat as a teacher, as someone who knows how to manipulate. If you don't really know what that word is, anyone go look it up. It doesn't mean what you think. Manipulate reality, manipulate recordings, manipulate 7 consciousnesses or dimensions of money. So thank you. Let's do it again soon. And I would love to come to Los.
Well, you will.
Everyone, I'm going to close with a potential song on my new album. Brian, I want you to know that the music I'm writing them in chronological order, meaning the order that I woke up in this life. The first one is called the Dark Night of the Soul, but with a K, like a knight on a horse. Dark Night of the Soul. This is when I was in that depression. See, this all comes back around. I was in that depression. The second one is What Do You Want? What do you want? And it's spelled that way. What do you want? I came to this place, this realization of realizing what it is I want. And the third experience that happened to me, third song, is Infected with Love. So which one out of these 3 you want to hear, bro? Dark Night of the Soul, What Do You Want? Infected with Love. So everyone, I'm going to play you a potential song on the new album. The album is called Samadhi. I want you to look at this screen, all the corners, the colors. I'm going to show you the potential working album cover. When I do a project, books, music, whatever it is I do, I'll always play with the beginning, the middle, and the end. You can have meat, you can have bread. Why not make yourself a good sandwich? So I made it. This is my craft, the way I wield myself, work myself. So I'm going to show you the potential album cover for now. I do suggest right now you go get headphones. Brian, I don't know if that's doable for you, but you can always listen to the back half. And everyone, you have to crank it. One, you have to crank it because there's some stereo imaging that's going to be happening. Really, really cool stuff. And I suggest headphones because it's not mastered yet, and it'll just sound different on many different systems. Headphones are a little more true. But Brian, my
Did we
shortcut.
all drop some psilocybin mushrooms before we left?
It would have that effect. But also, just as a quick mastering technique, which is something I'm not there yet, I just roll 30 hertz off. It kind of cleans up a lot of the mud. So I'm going to show you the working album cover, and I'm going to play you a song called Infected with Love. So check it out. Turn it up. It's fun. Here we go. Everyone get your headphones. I'll wait another 10 seconds or so. You so cray cray. Turn on your mic, bro. Let me hear you. By the way, all that money you made in Hawaii, you need to get you a chair. You got a squeaky chair.
Oh, you're right. I got a squeaky chair. You're right.
Love it. What do you got? Some white sage?
Yeah, it's just sage.
So were you able to hear?
These are from the 1970s.
Yeah. I love the look. So were you able to hear? Give me some critique.
Oddly, it doesn't work that way. The audio, you got your audio rig not coming back to
yeah, that's why I sent you the link to YouTube.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna play it back after.
Sure. So everyone, thank you. I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna play one more and I'm gonna exit. I'm not gonna come back on screen. Excellent. But I want to leave it up to Brian. Brian, which one to hear? You want to hear the one called? You hear this on playback. Dark Night of the Soul, or what do you want?
Well, what do you want?
What else can there be? What the fuck?
That's
do you
more
want?
yum, right?
Brian, thank you, my brother. I love you.
Give me more yum.
Give me some more yum. What do you want? Yeah. Check out the vocals in the chorus. I gotta redo them, but I'm gonna tighten them up. It's kind of Queen-ish. Little Freddie Mercury. Peace, love, and light, y'all. You're loved beyond measure. The question I ask you is, what does it feel like to be you? In that space of understanding what that is encrypted with everything that can possibly be. What does it feel like to be you? Are you joyful? In that joy, time will even flee from you. It'll go. That's how powerful you are, you time traveler that you are. Do you understand that? Stay in joy. Yum or yuck. It's your choice. Drag, no time. Drag, no time. Dismay, discord, ecstasy, bliss. So the question I pose is, what are you looking for? What do you want, rather? What do you want? What do you want? I can't seem to figure things out. Maybe everything I claim to know is absolute bullshit. Where else can I go but inward? Nothing in the outside has ever brought me some sort of peace. I once heard from a friend about something called samadhi. If I remember correctly, he told me it's being in a space of stillness, an inner quiet, silence on all levels, sort of like being in a cave in meditation, waiting simply, however long it takes, for God to awaken you and bring you to the realm of all possibilities.